Hey y'all, it's Betty. Hi. You're just hearing my voice today because I really do believe that someone is doing some brujeria business on me, believe it or not. There has been a series of events going on in this household lately that have been like fucking my whole groove up, like literally. But you know what? I'm remaining optimistic. I have been looking a lot into, what is that called? Like self-actualizing things and putting things out into the world so that they actually come back to you. But if you actually enjoy this format, because hey, all of these things could have gone bad because I have crazy eyes and people were probably not feeling me looking into the camera or avoiding the camera, because I know it's like you're in the wrong realm of genres if you don't like delivering bad news. I really don't like delivering bad news. That's why I try to avoid looking at the camera sometimes, and like I'll look outside the window, or like, my eyes will just be kind of crazy. So maybe it was meant to be. But to wrap this all up, last week I left my cup of water while I was finishing my True Crime Tuesday video. I left it nearby my computer, and guess what? It freaking fell on it as I was eating my dinner. I came back upstairs. My cup was like slanted and it spilled all over my computer. So it only works with my charger on it so far. Hopefully it continues to work, because yesterday as I was editing my friend's gender reveal that I filmed for her, it kept dying on me. So I'm really worried because I really can't afford another laptop right now. And because I filmed her gender reveal, I took my tripod over to her house and I left it there. So that is why I'm not filming myself. I got my hair and makeup done, and then I was like, this isn't gonna work without the tripod. So I'm like, you know what? Let me try this voiceover thing, and I really hope that you guys like it. If you do, like I said at the beginning, please leave a comment down below and let me know what you prefer, because I actually care. I do want to know if you guys want to see my crazy eyes or not. I'm hoping that I can like make a little makeshift cute True Crime Tuesday logo that I can put on the screen while I'm telling you guys this awful story about Brenda Spencer, which was the very first ever school shooter. And I know these things are kind of controversial, but there's no children murdered. Not that it makes it any less tragic, or like the adult's death any less tragic, but I did feel a little bit more comfortable because there was no children harmed in her awful, tragic story. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. On Monday, January the 29th of 1979, Brenda Spencer, who was 16 at the time, lived across the street from Grover Cleveland Elementary School, and she became the first school shooter ever. 2 people were murdered by the shooting. The school principal, Burton Ragg, and he was 53 at the time, as well as the school custodian, Mike, it might be Shukar or Shuchar. He was only 56 at the time. She also injured 8 children. I did see a few YouTube videos where they actually interview some of the children as adults now, which was really interesting. I believe one of the girls got shot in her, like through her wrist. And I mean, obviously she survived because no children actually ended up dying. But she just like mentioned how like absolutely insane it was. And one little kid, I think he was like the very first one to get shot, was wearing like a blue jacket, and she mentioned when like they talked to her that she really liked the color blue, so he was a really easy target for her because he was walking right in front of her house going to school, and she shot him right through the chest. Luckily it blew right through him, so it didn't actually like sustain any injuries, except of course he has a scar now because it went through his, I believe it was his chest through his back, which is really freaking traumatic for a child. And even now he says in interviews that he still looks at it and thinks about like how awful it was, but he's also grateful to be alive. Anyway, that was a little sidetrack based on videos that I watched. in regards to like little interviews and stuff like that on Brenda Spencer. So Mike Schuchar and Burton Ragg both died trying to get the children to safety. They were trying to protect the children. So they seriously were heroes in that instance when she was trying to shoot up the school. Even an officer responding to the attack was wounded. After firing 30 times, she barricaded herself in her home. So she locked herself in her house, and she did actually speak to a reporter on the phone while she was in her house. That's how crazy this girl was. And when they asked her why she shot up the school, she said, because, and this is a quote unquote famous. I really don't like using famous for like awful people like her. But a quote unquote famous that came out of this was her quote that she said, "I don't like Mondays, and this livens up the day." Ultimately, she did surrender soon after officers found beer and whiskey bottles cluttered all over her house, but she did not appear intoxicated. There was also a song that was made after her quote, "I don't like Mondays." The song's actually called "I Don't Like Mondays." Super creepy, like, why would you do this? But it inspired an artist, apparently. Spencer was charged as an adult and pleaded guilty to 2 counts of murder and assault with a deadly weapon. On April 4th of 1980, a day after her 18th birthday, she was sentenced to 25 years to life in prison. Brenda was diagnosed with epilepsy and depression. So there was never actually a deeper reasoning as to why she did it. She was literally just a psychotic teenager and had awful intentions in mind. Excuse me, I had to burp. She did also claim that her father would like beat her and sexually assault her, but he denied all of these allegations. She's been trying to get out of prison ever since then, she's never. Every time that she's been put up for parole, she's still, to this day, as of April 2019, she's still in the same prison. She had a girlfriend while she was in jail as well, and when she was released, she said that she basically was a psycho, and she commonly self-harms. At her most recent parole hearing, is that what it's called? I think so. At her most recent parole hearing, she was, they brought up the topic of her self-harming, and they mentioned that she had scratched words on her that said courage and pride into her own skin, but she actually ended up correcting them, and she said, no, what I scratched into my own skin was runes reading Unforgiven and Alone. In 2009, the board again refused her application for parole and ruled it would be 10 years before she would be considered again. So that was as of 2009. So 2019, she was supposed to have a hearing, and here it says, as of February 2019, she remains in prison and is housed at the California Institution for Women in Chino. What I found really scary about this story is I feel like she kind of kicked off just an awful thought in people's minds. And I don't know, it's like so terrifying because on January 17th of 1989, almost 10 years after the events at the elementary school that she shot up, there was another shooting at a school named also Grover Cleveland Elementary School, but this one was in Stockton, California. 5 students were killed and 30 were injured. Only one survivor of the 1979 shooting with Brenda described herself as shocked, saddened, and horrified by the eerie similarities to their own traumatic experience. So, 10 years later, like literally, so Brenda's shooting was January 29th, and this other shooting was January 17th of 1989. 10 years later, there was another shooting, and it wasn't at the exact same school, but it was at a school with the exact same name that Brenda shot up. So really terrifying, the things that came to ensue after the fact, and just the doors that she opened up to many people who had those awful thoughts in mind. I don't think I'll be doing any of the other school shootings just because those are honestly so terrifying. And although I'm doing this one, I'm not going to promote it as her name. I don't even know if I want to put her picture up. I'm still trying to decide. I know a lot of people are like super against it because that's basically, I don't think her intention was to become famous, because I don't think she realized what the outcome of everything was going to be. In my opinion, I think she was just a psychopath. I don't think she had really fame in mind, or really even thought about how this was going to come out in the news and all of that, because she's never once ever mentioned like feeling secluded or needing to be famous. Another thing that I actually forgot to mention is that her father actually gave her the gun that she ended up shooting the school with, which is just like, he must feel awful. In one of the videos that I watched, he's actually still living in the same house that she shot up the school from, which is like just crazy. Like, how could you still stay there? I would have like dipped out super quick, been embarrassed, like, I'm so sorry. But yeah, he still lives there, which is kind of crazy. Anyway, this is the absolutely insane story about Brenda Spencer, the 16-year-old very first school shooter. Awful story. But yeah, for realsies though, I think we should definitely give a shout out and forever remember the true heroes, Burton Ragg, which was the principal, and Mike Shutar, which was the custodian, that both died defending and trying to protect the children. Like, they should always be the ones that are remembered for forever. So I am going to title this The Story of Burton Ragg and Mike Shutar. Maybe not the story, because this should not define them exactly, but they are definitely heroes. Maybe I'll title it the Grover Cleveland Elementary Heroes. I think that would be a really nice touch. I hope that you guys enjoyed this True Crime Tuesday. Again, please let me know what you guys think of just voiceovers instead of my crazy eyes looking all over the place. I feel like I feel so much more comfortable just doing voiceovers too. So just let me know if you guys enjoy it. If you do, I will continue doing it this way. Like I said, it makes me feel more comfortable, and you guys can just like play this as you're doing whatever you're doing. You don't even have to watch what I'm looking like on the screen. Just hear the story. This is how I enjoy my true crime for the most part as well. So yeah, let me know. And I will see you guys on Thursday if you're into my Thursday more positive, happy, random videos. If not, I will see you right back here next True Crime Tuesday with another sad but true story. Love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.